I'm going to do a demo here to show you a function in Maya that's going to help you with your animation and show you a quick way to view your animation and to view your scenes without having to render them out. Rendering would be the final step, but you don't want to render out your animation every time to see how it works, and you may want to do a little movie of it. And what this is called a Playblast. A Playblast, and I'm going to play this here. I've already made one of our scene that we did showing the camera motion, and what this is just a very low quality, but it makes a QuickTime file or an AVI file that you can post, and this is to show some good works in progress. I'm going to show you how to set this up and to do this. So what we have here, I'm going to close that. Here's the scene that I had done previously, showing the camera move. It's a 200 frame scene that we've made here, and what we've done before is we've just played the little playback over here, but actually this is not playing back quite as accurately as you would think. It's pretty close because it's a pretty small scene, but it's not exactly 24 frames a second. So what we want to do is we want to make a Playblast. So let's just say I do my animation, and I'm pretty happy with what I've got here, and I want to make a Playblast. So let's go to my window. Let's click into the camera view here. This is what I'm going to actually render out in a Playblast. I go into my timeline and I right click into the timeline. It brings up a menu, and at the bottom here is Playblast. And I'm going to go Playblast. I'm going to go to the option box of Playblast here and open this up. I've reset this to the default. This is probably what your Playblast options are going to look like. So you open up, and let's do the format is AVI, and the encoding. This is going to be your compression, and let's do MSRLE, Microsoft RLE. That's a good one. They put the quality at about 70. Let's just put ours up to 100. You can play around with that. The quality isn't going to be great anyway, but depending on what you're doing, you can play with the quality there. Let's just put this at 100. The display size, this is going to determine what the size of the actual video is going to be, and it's actually going to be from the window, which is set here, but I like to put it from render settings, and that just makes your the video that you generate, your QuickTime or your AVI, it's going to make it to 640 by 480. So I put it there. The scale here, you can adjust the scale, so it's going to, even though you have made it a quality of 100, what it's going to do is it's going to make it half size. This is just to save some time and to save some space, but given just the size of our files here, there are only 200 frames. If you were doing like a 2,000 frame animation and you just wanted to see it quickly-ish, you would make it at 50%, 0.5, but I'm going to make it scale all the way to 1, so it's going to be a full-size video. Scroll down just a little more. Keep remove temporary file check. This way that every time you make a Playblast, and you'll see in a minute what I mean, it's going to just overwrite that Playblast. And I also want to save the file, so you check save to file, and then you're going to browse, and you're going to tell it where you want to make this Playblast go. Be careful, you want to make sure that you put it somewhere that you know where it goes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse, and I just put it on my desktop. So I just click on my desktop, and I'll just call it, let's call it Camera Test 1, and save it. And then you're all set to go, and you either press Playblast or apply. So I'll just press apply, and it's going to generate a little Playblast. Let it do its thing here for a second, And there we go. And it's going to show you the animation that you've got going on here. Now let's just close that out, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and there it is. It has saved a file to my desktop, and let's just see how big this is. It's about 1 megabyte, so it's not very big at all. And you can email that. You can put it on the critique zone or whatnot. But let me just show you now. Now I've done this, and I'm like, well, okay. This is not really. I want to do some changes. Let's save my file here. So I'm going to save as, and I'll just call this, let's put it to my desktop. I have a, let's just call it something real creative, like that. And I'm going to make some changes. Let's go here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a, let's just look at here. I'm going to do a little change. There's my camera. This is what it actually sees. And in here I'm going to do some, let's just select the camera right there. Let's do that. Keyframe there. And so I'm making changes to my animation here. Like so. And let's go and see what this, just preview this, what it looks like, and I'm going, okay, yeah, that's much better. Makes me a little nauseous, but this is what I'm going for. And all I have to do now is go right click into the timeline and go to Playblast, and it'll say, do you want to overwrite? So it's going to overwrite that last file that I did. And this is the new animation. Now, if you didn't want to overwrite that file, you could just go in and say, you know, if you wanted to save that other version for whatever reason, you could just go Playblast, cancel. You'd have to go into the option box, and you'd have to call it something else. So let's call it 2, and then you Playblast. And what that would do is it would generate another file called camera test 2. A couple of little things I want to show you to be careful about when you're doing Playblast. If you were to go, I'm working in here, I'm working in the perspective mode, and you're like, okay, I want to do a Playblast now, and then I go do Playblast, yes, overwrite. Oh, this is, the Playblast will generate the animation in the view that you have selected. So you definitely need to, you know, you say, oh no, I did that. Well, not a big deal. You just go to the view that you want and just rePlayblast it, and that should be fine. That'll overwrite that. It'll overwrite that file. The other thing that I also want you to be aware of is that the Playblast is showing all of the user interface and all of the extra tools, like if you have some curves in there that you were working with. In this case, it's all these little extra cameras that I've got in here because I was doing some demos with the cameras in the scenes. It's a good idea, you know, if you're going to do a Playblast and you want to show somebody for approval, is to go in the viewport here, go into show, and I'd like to click off none. So that's going to, what that does is that's going to display nothing. And I go back into show, and I'm going to click NURB surfaces and polygons. So now all that's going to display right now. And you may also want to, if you have sub-Ds in your scene, why don't you just click on sub-Ds. So right now all it's going to show is just polygons, NURBs, and sub-Ds. And now you can do your Playblast, and all of those other little artifact, all those little things like the extra cameras, the control curves, and things that are just distracting to your scene are going to go away. Now I also see a little bit of the grid in the scene, and that's another thing that you can make disappear. If you go into show, and I'm just going to uncheck grid down at the bottom, and that just makes that that display grid that comes in every time That just makes it invisible, and you can just your Playblast will come in just what is showing in the viewport here. So you have a nice looking, clean looking render. It's not going to be perfect. It is low quality. It's not going to be like a render. It might not show lighting unless you do some tricks with the Playblast. It's not going to show up your lighting necessarily, but it's also a good way to show some animation, do some approval, and also to check your animation to see that it's running right on time. If you have any questions, please let me know.